welcome to MapleWoodian.com podcast. We have on the phone three wonderful musicians from Puss in Boots, and they will be playing this weekend at Maple Woodstock. Of course, we all know Nora Jones, Grammy Award-winning musician in her own right, but now teaming up with Sasha Dobson and Catherine Popper. How are you doing, ladies?
Very well.
Can you all hear?
Thank you. Yes, you're great.
We're getting some feedback, but I don't know where that's from, but we'll go with it. First of all, we wanted to say Puss in Boots, this is a great mix. Tell us about the band and what kind of music you bring together and what brought you three together. Let's ask Nora. Why don't you start?
Well, Sasha and I started playing together, like 8 or 9 years ago, or I don't know the exact number, but we started playing at this pool hall so we could learn guitar. We were already friends. We both already played a lot of gigs doing our own things, but we just both wanted to learn guitar, so we started playing at this pool hall for nobody and messing up all the chords until we got better and better. And finally, Catherine joined the band, and we started playing little bars around New York. And I don't know, over the years we sort of just played when we were all in town and tried new things with each other, and eventually we figured, wow, we kind of have a thing, after playing together for 7-8 years, we're a real band, so we decided to make a record. I'm a real band.
Now, Nora, for those who may not know, you are a Brooklyn native, but you also grew up in Texas?
Yeah, I was born in New York City,
right.
Not Brooklyn. But,
okay. That's why we asked.
And then, I grew up in Texas, but I've lived back in New York for like 15 years.
So you're basically a New Yorker in recent times.
Yeah.
And, of course, most people will remember your wonderful debut album, Come Away With Me, big hits, a lot of Grammys, Best New Artist, all the wonderful accolades you deserved. But in terms of, since that came out, and you said you guys were just sort of playing around together many years, how did you hook up and what made it, want to bring the band together with this setup and this latest approach?
Well, like I said, Sasha and I were friends, and we just wanted to play guitar, and so we started playing guitar in this pool hall.
Where was the pool hall? Let's get specific.
Yeah. It was in the West Village.
The West Village. And it just sort of grew out of that?
Yeah, that's what I said. That's definitely how it started, and we were just kind of enjoying learning new instruments, and I don't know, we definitely leaned toward the country side of things, probably because it's easier on the guitar. Sasha has since grown up and learned how to play jazz chords, but I'm still stuck in the country corner. I still can't play any bar chords hardly.
And Sasha, for you, how did you for people who don't know your background, how did you get to where you were playing with Nora and Catherine, and what's sort of your background music-wise, and how you wanted to get hooked up with them?
Thanks for doing your research. So basically,
we get it straight from the source's mouth.
Okay. Well, thanks for taking the time. So basically, I moved to New York to sing jazz. Both my parents are jazz musicians in the Bay Area of California, and around the same time, this was probably year 2000, was when I met Nora, and we were all on some of the same jazz gigs. And eventually I started, years after Nora, Nora was on to something that I was a little bit more of a jazz Nazi back when I was a kid, and I feel like Nora was had her feet wet in so many different things. I was still kind of one-dimensional back then, but, over the years, I really, I was hanging out with songwriters, and when we reconnected, it's just like Nora said, you may not know who I am, but I've been, part of the New York music scene for 17 years, and we all do our own projects. So I'm not really singing jazz anymore. I mostly do songwriting. And, but, again, working with the girls, it's like something about that where we we push each other to try different things, to write music, we each take the lead. It's like a very balanced scenario where it's not like all the work and all the decisions are coming from one person. It's a collective, It's like a really healthy, super special environment for all of us who tend to work like, we all have our projects that, are demanding in different ways. I don't know if I'm making sense.
No, it makes great sense. And then, Catherine, let me ask you. Now, you were in a couple groups, Ryan Adams and the Cardinals. I love these names. And Grace Potter and the Nocturnals. It's wonderful stuff.
They're all bird names.
Is that a coincidence, or is there a bird free flight element to your approach? What?
I only play in bands that have bird names.
But now it's Puss in Boots, so maybe it's expanding, right?
Animal names. It's an animal.
There you go. Hey, that's a great idea. What?
A vagina is a bird.
But Catherine, what brought you into this group? Similar approach, wanting to sort of share the different approaches you have, or do you like linking in with them?
Because I think nobody. I mean, my guess is that nobody wanted to play bass. Nobody ever wants to play bass.
Bass is very, very underrated.
Just kidding.
That's bullshit.
No, I have friends who play bass in bands, and they say it's a very underrated, not well-respected part of the band, but it is a major part of the music that most people don't understand.
For sure.
I always say the minute you notice the bass player, he's doing a crappy job. So I'm totally happy to be the bass player. And they asked me to join, and I said sure. And then we would just play sort of every now and then when we were all in town because we're all super busy. And one day they looked at me and they said, wait a minute, we're doing this stuff that, we're trying new stuff, and now it's your turn. You have to sing a song. And I wet myself.
That was a long
They literally turned to me and they said, wait a minute, you need to pick a song and sing it. So yeah, I mean, they threw me out there. It was like throwing a kid into the deep end of the pool. It was so cool, and I will never ever forget it. I'll never forget the service they did for me.
Excellent. Now the album. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Equal. I was just saying, Kath, it's just this app. We just played a show at Clearwater yesterday, and I was, it's just amazing because it's always been there, Catherine. You know what I mean? It's just interesting because it officially is it's equal parts, equal leads. And, it's really cool, super strong.
It's just a gift to be able. I never wanted to do that, and to do it it's just been such a gift to try something new. And since we were off the radar for so long, we didn't have to worry about whether or not it was this objective level of good.
Now this debut album,
we never cared.
Now your album is not out until just mid-July. But what can you tell us about what people should expect? And there's obviously singles of it that they can hear. What should people know about the album if they're not sure what to expect? The kind of music that you're going to put together.
There's a vial of blood included with every 10th CD.
That would be amazing.
There has to be a way to download that, though, right? Everything's digital now, right?
Oh yeah, you can download the blood. You just have to plug yourself in.
You just get Sasha's genetic code.
I don't know. I guess, it's harmony heavy and it's fun, and there's some great covers. Some you may know, some you may not, and some great originals.
And then, of course,
it leans country, but it's not, super country. It leans country. Would you guys say that?
Definitely, but also
it is definitely, yes.
For the nerdy musician who actually cares about this stuff, a lot of listeners don't, which is fine. But most of it is live. It's almost recorded like a jazz record because we're playing everything in the same room live to tape, which is very rarely done these days, even for a jazz record.
And what brought that about? Was that something that was easier to do, or you wanted to have that sound?
was definitely easier for us. And, I mean, for me, like, there's no way we could break this band down into multi-tracking overdubs.
Right.
It just wouldn't make sense. That's not what the band is, you know?
If it was like a perfectly recorded CD with no errors and no air in the room, it wouldn't be our record at all.
Yeah.
But the other way to look at it is that, you know, that's rarely done because a lot of people can't do that anymore in the studio, and it's a strength that all of us have that, you know, we should at least acknowledge, because we're always so like, oh, we're not, you know, we're just having fun, but, you know, it's also like there's a strength that's there that's very, you know, subtle, but it's real.
Now, your website says one of the
it comes from. It also comes from just playing live so much with this band, you know. We're not, like, just getting together to record. Like, we've played these songs so much live. It's like, yeah.
So true.
Now, those who've pre-ordered would get a copy. There's one of the songs on it is Neil Young's Down by the River, which I know is one of the classics. Correct?
Yes.
Now, what's your thought on why do that song? Are you big Neil Young fans, and what is it about his approach?
Yeah. Huge Neil Young fans. In fact, we got to play with Neil, the three of us, which was pretty special. I did the Bridge School benefit years ago.
Yes, I've been to the Bridge School several times. That's a great venue, yes. A great concert.
Yeah, and I had Sasha and Catherine come as my band, so we did like half Puss in Boots set and half my music, but we did a lot of Puss in Boots stuff. And we actually, Neil popped in the dressing room to say, hey, I was too shy to ask him to sit in with us, but the girls were like, hey, are you going to sit in with us? And so he did, and we didn't do that song. We did another beautiful Neil song, but so we've had the honor of actually playing with Neil, which is fucking crazy, you know. But yeah, we love that song, and we were just jamming one day. Sasha had just started playing drums, and I just started playing the riff, and we all knew the song, so we just started playing it, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we should totally do this song. It's not that hard. And then it got to the guitar solo, and I was like, oh, crap. Now I have to take the guitar solo. Maybe it is hard. But so, you know, they threw me to the wolves, and then I kept doing it, and sometimes I mess it up, but it sure is fun.
How hard is it to, this is something I always talk to people, musicians who are still coming up and who are well known. The music industry today is got to be one of the most difficult in terms of the fact that digital music, there's so much shared music, there's so much. Is it possible for new groups and new voices to really get out there now, or have the companies just slammed down creativity in some ways?
I don't know, but I know it's hard for people to break. It's possible, but it's definitely a whole new world, which I don't completely understand.
I'm sorry, what is that, Sis?
I think it's really hard for people. I just think it's hard for people who aren't self-funded, who aren't financially independent. That, you know, like a lot of the successful people I know who don't already have like their foot really in the door. In order to get the engine really running, the funds. You're not turning over the same money as you used to be, so I feel like talent is still acknowledged. I mean, not every band on the radio is crap. I mean, there are great bands out there, but I feel like it's way harder to get it rolling because the turnover to actually make any money is so much less. Even for a new artist, it's kind of insane. But
and also with all the social media stuff. I feel like if you're not good at the social media stuff, then you just kind of get lost. You have to constantly be self-promoting now online with Twitter and everything, and that's fine if you're good at it, but not everybody is.
Hey, Joe, one more question.
I mean, I would have failed 10 years ago if I had to make my way through social media, because I suck at it.
Okay, we're going to have to...
The other thing people are doing is like corporate sponsorship, which has been a much bigger part of the music that I've seen anyway. You know,
and licensing songs.
And don't you think that with so much opportunity to get things out, you would think it would be easier, right? That a new band could just get on the web and put it out. But it doesn't seem to be that way, no?
But then once you put it out,
everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
Exactly, and then turning over and it's such an interesting time. But there are advantages as far as like the internet you can reach more people faster in a certain way. But it's just an interesting time because
Yeah, if you're good at it, then it will work for you probably. But
excellent. Well, I'm getting the signal here. I got to let you go. Unfortunately, people are pulling you away from me. But I appreciate your time, Sasha Dobson, Nora Jones, Catherine Popper. They are Puss in Boots. You will be at Maple Woodstock this Sunday night, and I think you're going to be very pleased with the crowd. It's a very, very fun outdoor group. A lot of fun people, very mellow and casual, and I know with your great success and history, they're gonna give you a warm reception that you deserve. And we thank you very much for giving us some time. Thanks, ladies. Be well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Be well.
We'll see you there.